Hello everyone. Okay, this is Vincent and I am back to talk about Netflix shows again. And I wanted to talk again about startup because I gotta say, I absolutely love this show. I think this is so far my favorite Korean K drama. And I think, I don't know, it's maybe the reliability. It's very, not reliability, relatability, because, it's kind of like the domain of tech and business and all that stuff, like kind of familiar to me. I thought it was that, but no, it's not really just that, I really love the characters. They're very fun and very, and the story. Anyway, enough praising of that show. I think today I wanted to talk about this whole controversy on the internet about this show. So, I really love this show, and then I was looking up reviews of this show on the internet because I just wanted to see for fun, like, oh, this show is awesome. I'm sure other people must love it. But there is a big controversy, and then the controversy revolves around something that they call second lead syndrome. So the second lead syndrome is the idea that, you have the main lead, and then you have the main girl lead, and then the girl is going to end up with the main lead. But you really love the second lead so much that you really want the girl to end up with the second lead, and then you become sick at the end because, like, oh, the girl, she didn't choose the guy that I wanted. Oh, and then this happens. Okay, and then I want to wait it on it. Give my opinion on who do I think should be what is my take on the controversy of Team GoodBoy versus Team Dosan. So the idea is that this pretty boy right here, he wants to get with this girl, and then this boy right here also wants to get with this girl. We're forgetting the sister of that girl, like on the right, which is pretty hot as well. I don't know. None of them went after her, which is pretty shameful. I mean, I don't know. Like, actually, she does. I mean, I've watched the whole show, So yeah, in terms of personality, like she's a lot more fun. But when I look at this, oh wow, she's very pretty, Anyway, but anyway, between those two, who deserves to get her? I mean, you're gonna just look at this poster, who looks like the I don't know, whatever. I mean, the whole thing is that there's this whole controversy because I'm gonna tell you ahead of time, and then there's gonna be a lot of spoiler for this video, so bear with me. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at the poster. Okay, so yeah, this is Team GoodBoy. This pretty face versus this pretty face. Who has the prettiest face? I don't know. Like in this one, I don't really see like much. I can't really tell. This one either. Yeah. So who between those two? Like this poor guy crying and this smirky guy. Like who's gonna get the girl? Which is very stupid. Like the show is really more about more than just like this whole relationship, but everybody's talking about that because that's fun to talk about, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just like going through all those pictures, So if you guys don't know about this show, it's already spoilers. But ahead of time, he's in the credit, he's described as the main lead, and she's described as the main lead. So automatically, a lot of people assume that he's going to be the winner, right? And then that other poor boy right here is gonna be left alone. Yeah. So everybody expected that, and then that's the second lead syndrome because they're thinking, oh, yeah, like I think like 80% of the internet was really rooting for pretty boy right here to win over pretty boy right here. And I don't know, if you watch the show, I guess they're both very nice people, but for some reason everybody fell in love with this guy. I will give you my take on it a little bit later. Who do I choose which team I'm on, which side I'm on. But anyway, let's go forward. Yeah. I chose this picture because you can If you look at this one, yeah, he does look actually a little bit more handsome than this guy, you know. Look at him, like a little bit looks stupid looking. This one a little bit smart. But I mean, this is just one photo, you know. But I think throughout the show, you know, at first I was like, I watched it twice, and the first time I was like not really caring that much. But the second time around, I was thinking, yeah, he kind of he's a little bit more handsome than the other guy, right? The second lead. Let's go further with all the. Okay, so now let's talk about personality. This guy, he's like a tech geek. He's like very smart. He doesn't know anything except computers. He's very good at computers, and he's very smart at that. And this guy, he's very savvy about investments. He's a businessman. This guy, he's way more successful than this guy. This guy is like still starting, and then this guy, he's already successful. So if you were like to take a side already based on that, I mean, in a show, you kind of like going for the underdog, right? You're thinking that yeah, the poor guy, he's climbing and then he's becoming better. Then you're gonna think like yeah, he's the guy to root for, you know. This guy is already successful, he's already rich, you know. Who's gonna want to root for him, you know? But I mean, if you were like thinking like in terms of reality, you know, yeah, I mean, just go for a successful guy, right? Who's gonna go for the loser geek who hasn't been successful yet? But it turns out he's very smart, though. You know, Mr. Dosan. Dosan is on the left. GoodBoy is on the right. Ji-Pyeong, that's his name. But yeah, Dosan is very smart, and then they're both very smart. But Dosan is some kind of computer genius, you know, which is kind of cool. What are these? Oh yeah, that's when they were young. So when they were young, he's like a boy genius who's like loses confidence because at one test he cheated, and since then he was like feel bad and he was keep losing confidence. Poor guy. This guy, he's an orphan, so he's very poor. He's taken care of by this grandmother, and then this grandmother like asked him to write some letter for the other girl, and then that's how the whole thing started. You know, actually, I kind of skipped the whole story, but yeah, the reason why they both going after the this Dami, the girl, is that Mr. Han Ji-Pyeong right here, as a kid, he wrote letters to her, pretending to be infatuated with her, really, because the grandma asked her. So he was writing like very nice letter, you know, and then because he didn't want to use his own identity because I guess he was a little bit older, and then he wasn't like he wasn't really interested in her anyway, just maybe as friends. They picked this poor guy name out of the journal. It's like, oh, Dosan, he looks successful, and then he looks like he won some trophy in mathematics. Let's just pick his name. And then in the future, this is what happened, you know. This poor guy who doesn't know anything about it, he's roped into this whole romance, you know, like Mr. Han Ji-Pyeong asked him like, hey, can you just pretend to you know, like be with her like just for one, and you know, be the person that I wrote the letter, and then that's kind of it. Like the beginning started like this, and Dosan at first he was like, oh, okay, you know, if you give me some money, I will do it, or if no, he wasn't interested in money. He wanted to accelerate his startup, and so he asked Han Ji-Pyeong to help him on that. Han Ji-Pyeong say like, oh, I cannot do that, you know, I can just give you money, you know, just take my money and then shove it, otherwise screw it. So he kind of decided to screw it, but then he was reading the letters and he was thinking, I kind of like this girl based on the letter. So he just went after her, yeah. So everybody was happy. But unfortunately, along the way, you know, I don't know, I'm skipping through all these things which have nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but anyway. Along the way, Mr. Han Ji-Pyeong started to have feelings for Dami, and then of course Dosan, yeah, he started having feelings for her right away. So he was very conflicted, but then Dosan was not really conflicted. He was like, oh, she's pretty hot, I'm gonna go after her, you know. Yeah. And then that's kind of like okay, we see him needing, you know, like a real geek needing. We see him like playing cool. I think that's why, you know, the whole internet got infatuated with Mr. Han Ji-Pyeong, he's really cool towards the show, you know. Towards the show, he's like a little bit mean, a little bit kind of a semi-bad guy, you know, like the cool guy. And this guy, he's kind of a little bit of a loser. he a little bit too emotional. He seems to be crying almost every episode. But yeah, let's just go through just for fun. I don't know what's. See, he's grabbed his hands and he's not. You know, at the end, okay, I can just spoiler. Go towards the end. He's the main lead. He got the girl. Han Ji-Pyeong did not get the girl. You can see from this photo like why, you know. Dosan really goes ahead with her. He's not. He doesn't hide his emotion. He really wants to get her. And then at first he's using the letters like, okay, you know, I'm gonna pretend because I have the letters just to give a favor to this guy who asked for it. But then eventually he's thinking, you know, I don't want her to think of me as the person of the letter. I want her to love me for who I am. And then he just pushed forward for it towards it. And Han Ji-Pyeong, in the beginning, he asked him for a favor. Can you just go after her just to make her happy, you know, for one day? And then eventually, you know, he was stuck. Like in the beginning, he thought like, okay, this is just a one-day deal. But then he got roped into the whole thing, and then eventually, as he get to know her, he started to grow true feelings for her. And then he was really wanted to. He even he did announce to her that he liked her, but he did not really go push very hard towards her. But the thing is, like, you can think like, okay, maybe that's his fault because of that, but you know, you can tell like towards the whole show that Dami never has any moment of love towards Han Ji-Pyeong. She has a lot of moments of brotherhood and friendship, but you could tell that there was chemistry, but not love chemistry. That's something different, you know. But between Dami and Han Ji-Pyeong, there were very strong moments where she really like fell for him, like very felt like, you know, strong emotions for him. You know, even though like if you think about the average of the whole flow of the show, a lot of times he looks stupid. You know, when you look at him and he's like, oh, this idiot. We won't say idiot all the time, and then this guy, like, yeah, he's smart, whatever. So if you compare like based on the, oh yeah, he's smart and this guy idiot, of course she's gonna go for him. But in terms of the moments, there's very little moments that really like connect them in terms of love, but there's a lot of moments that do for them. And I'm gonna go back to yeah, this moment. Okay, there's no moment here, but you know, this is like one of the moment of the show where I was looking at those two, and then I was deciding, yeah, I think I do like Dosan better, even though like he's really an idiot, which is kind of fun, you know. He's underdog idiot from the beginning. But this is a moment where I think the grandma asked Han Ji-Pyeong if he liked her, and he said no. And then the friends of Dosan asked him if he liked her, and he said yes. Just that one moment alone, I was thinking, okay, he should really get the girl because he's confident about his emotion. He's like, he knows what he wants. This guy is still like doesn't want to admit, and then that's kind of like one thing, you know, that really tells you, you know, there's like confidence, you know, in this guy. At least for the not for in terms of like his ability, he was like always lack of confidence towards him because he was always thinking, oh, this guy who wrote the letter, and then she's always infatuated with him. And towards the end, he kept like hinting at him that she liked him. So he lost confidence about that, but he never lost confidence about his feelings towards her. And that's kind of what I liked about Dosan compared to Han Ji-Pyeong. But there's also another thing. Let me see if I can find any photo that's seem to. I'm just going back to this. I do like. I don't know. I find her prettier. You know, towards the show, throughout the whole show, yeah, of course, you know, everybody falls in love with Dami, this girl right here. But in J, oh, she's very pretty. Anyway, the thing is, when I watched the whole show, like especially towards the end, this was not really like Mr. Han Ji-Pyeong versus Mr. Dosan, it was really like two concepts, you know. And the two concepts is that you have this guy who's very grounded, very realistic. He's all about like you know, I'm logical. Don't want to take risk. I have solid evidence. You know, when I say this is crap, you know, I tell the truth. I just say this is crap, and then you know, I'm very honest. You know, even his honesty like caused somebody to. I can't say cause somebody to die, but like it was like hurts people a lot, and one person even died from it. So, but he's brutally honest, and towards the end he changes. You know, he thinks like maybe I've been a little bit too hard on people, but yeah, he's the kind of guy who says it as it is, and then I think that's a very good quality of Han Ji-Pyeong. You know, he's very direct, also very confident about his business, and he has a very lot of confidence about himself. You know, like in the beginning of the show, Dosan and Han Ji-Pyeong they talk, and then Han Ji-Pyeong say like, "Yeah, everybody thinks that you're a very hot shot," and Dosan he asks, "Oh, why?" And he say, "Oh, because you're talking to me." What a cocky bastard. Huh? And yeah, I do like this kind of personality. Now this guy, he's he's kind of like a dreamer, you know. He's not successful yet, but he's always dreaming about getting his startup started. He has this little baseball ball that says "Follow your dream," and then he's always in his mind. He's like hoping for the best, you know, and trying his best. And because he's very smart, a lot of time he succeed, but sometimes he's failing, and then he's very frustrated, but he's still moving forward. And then this is kind of like one of the theme of the show is that this guy, he's not taking risks, so he's not gonna go out in the sea, sailing in the sea without a map. And this guy will do it because he say it's going to be wonderful. You know, if I could die, it's true, but I could succeed, I could survive. And then people who succeed like this, they are trailblazers. They are the ones who like trace the path for the rest. You know. And then if you think about the title of the show, Startup, it's all about startup. And what are startups about? Are startups about like people who are playing it safe, people who are like not taking risks, you know, very very grounded, you know. And then like he's already successful, so he doesn't need to worry about you know, anything. But he's like, okay, I'm gonna be in my own share. I'm not gonna grow because I'm gonna be like just safe, feel comfortable. That's him, right? That's not startups. Startup is the guy who's like trying, failing, risking everything, and then like really like you know, towards the end there's like one very important thing, you know, because that's the moment where Dami really chose Dosan. She did not actually chose Dosan, she chose on a project. The project was like to bid against a very high level company, like on the car automation, and there was very low chance to get that bid. And then she was hesitating, like very like she really wanted to go do it, but she decided herself, let's not do it, it's too risky. And she talked with Han Ji-Pyeong, and Han Ji-Pyeong agreed, this is too risky, do not do it. Dosan kept pushing her, we should do it. Like we might fail, but it's gonna be good experience, and then we can learn from it and do the next time. And then at some point those two were arguing about it, and then yeah, and then that's the thing, you know. That's when Dami changed her mind about the project, and that's when that's right after that she, you know, that's towards the end of the show where she really went for Dosan, and then Han Ji-Pyeong kind of left the scene, you know, because she went forward with it, and then he said he understood that. And it was really about that, you know. It's not about this guy who's has a pretty face, and this guy who's a little bit stupid. It's really about like the dream, you know. Are you gonna go for it? Are you gonna really like risk it? Are you gonna be safe and comfortable? And you know, I'm not saying that, you know, always follow your dream, you know, it's always gonna be successful, it's always gonna work, because you know, we already there's already spoiler alert, so you know, I'm just gonna talk about the show. But there's at some point of the show where really like they lost everything. They lost the whole team. The team got disbanded, and then they just went very recklessly, and then, you know, they kind of like followed the dream and just went ahead, and then they failed, and then I don't know, they just like couldn't go forward, and then they just had to give up, and then that set them backwards a lot, like by 3 years, and then but within those 3 years they grew a lot. It turns out to be beneficial for them, to grow apart for 3 years, and then but when they regroup, they grew stronger, and then it worked out. So yeah, like it doesn't always mean that it works, but in the theme of the show, when you watch a show, and then you of course you're gonna root for the person who's like the dreamer, the person who's like trying, like being the riskiest and doing all those things. And I think, I don't know, like I think people who were like 80% who was rooting for Han Ji-Pyeong to the second lead to get with the beautiful Dami right here, I think they were really thinking about the personality of this guy, and then the I guess his handsomeness, and he's just as his whole person. But the real thing to think about is really like the concept, the concept that this guy is successful guy, safe, and there's nothing like risky about him. But this guy who's really dreaming, and then really pushing forward the dream, and then also that's what Dami leans forward, and that's really what she shows him. She's also a dreamer. She's not one to play safe, right? Anyway, this was a good show, and it got a lot of discussion. And yeah, I really like because of the theme of the show, the fact that I really loved it. It's also fun to watch. If you bypass like the whole controversy between those two guys and whatever. But hopefully you watched it already, because I cannot spoil the whole thing for you already. But if you haven't, just watch it. Let's go back to the poster. This is Startup. Those two. Another thing that maybe avoid the whole like the whole thing about syndrome. What do you call that? Second lead syndrome. Is that I never realized that this guy was the first lead. I didn't actually look at the credits, and I from the beginning of the show. This guy was from like the first person we see in the show, really. So I don't know. I thought like, this gonna be a whole story about this guy, and then maybe the other two girls. I didn't even see this guy in the picture. They just pick his name out of a journal, and I was so pleasantly surprised when they introduced him. Like, they're just gonna bring this guy. He has no idea why the guy is roped into this story. He's gonna be like so like lost, and then also he's such a geek. He's like kind of a nobody who's like he's there by accident, and I just like the concept of it. Like the whole thing. I'm thinking like, okay, it's all gonna be about this guy, and it's gonna be expected, but they just throw this guy into the ranch, and it was kind of good. Like, so that's why I would advise you, like, once in a while. I know that you want to watch the trailer and then read about the show before watching it. That way you know that it's good. But this whole show, I enjoyed it so much more because I had no idea what I was getting into. I was only like seeing some snippets. I don't even think I saw his face into any of the posters before watching the show. I kind of saw like Dami's face. Yeah, I saw her face, so I knew that it was about her. I wish I had better photo of Dami. I don't have. Yeah, there you go. So I knew that it was about her, but I never saw this guy in the picture. And then when he came, it was kind of cool, Maybe that's why I don't have the second lead syndrome, Like, for me, he's not first lead, He's second lead, and yeah. Anyway, please let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, I know not many people watch my videos, so I'm not gonna get too much comments, but maybe someday somebody watch this and then put in some comments. And I hope you enjoyed this, and see you later. Ciao.